let's try that. All right, let me make sure everything is working now that I've hopefully solved my issues. Alright, good. Sound is working. Still gonna have to try to figure out this whole live streaming thing again. I tried on the official app, and it wouldn't stream in anything other than terrible quality. So, not really sure why that was, but here we are. Seems to be working now. So, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So today I'm painting the Autarch from the new, whatever that box set is called, Eldritch Omens. And I'm going to be painting him in Iyanden colors. And so we're going to start, very appropriately, with Iyanden yellow. I'm going to put this on his armor. Everywhere except his helmet, because his helmet is going to be blue. But otherwise, all his armor will be yellow. So I'm going to adjust my light. And then I'm going to get started. And I primed this guy with Cast Black spray from Games Workshop. And then did a Zenithal spray of Wraithbone over the top of that, from about a 45-degree angle, probably a little steeper than 45 to be honest, but somewhere around there. That just helps the contrast paint look better on the surface. I do that with most of the things I paint with contrast paint. And so as you can see, it'll preserve the shadows of that black paint but still give us the nice yellow that we want. This is the lightest of the contrast paints we'll be using, so if it gets on other things, it's not the end of the world, because we will just paint over it. Just making sure that I don't miss any of this yellow the first time around. Really bugs me when I do miss a color and I have to come back and work on the same color again. I can't stand that. Alright, I think that's everything we need to be yellow. Oh, back of this shield thing there. Maybe the inside of the leg. Did I get this inside of the leg? There we go. Alright, that should be all our yellow. Now I'm going to go straight into the blue. No, I'll do another contrast first. So we're going to go to doing all the straps and pouches and stuff on him. So I'm going to use a smaller brush, and for that I'm going to use Gorgrunta Fur. If I can find it. It's probably here somewhere. Snakebite Leather. Similar. Not what we need. Fireslayer Flesh. Also similar. Hey, Gorgrunta Fur. Look at that. So this is just going to go on the straps that are around him here, and also I was thinking about maybe doing it on them, but I think I'm not going to, on second thought. I had a pretty good idea of how I wanted to paint this guy pretty much immediately. The only thing that I'm still unsure about is his cape. First I thought maybe red, but then he's going to be very primary colors. He's going to be red, yellow, and blue. And I don't think that's the look I want. And then I thought maybe purple, but I'm not sure how that purple would look. But we might still try that. Maybe a deep purple. We'll see how that goes. I missed some yellow. I knew I was going to miss some. Oh well, I'll go back and fix that later. Then he's got a couple straps connecting his pouches to his legs here. Get those. And back there as well. Alright. That should be... Let me just back the camera up here a little bit. I think it's struggling to maintain focus when I'm so close. Let's try that. Alright. I think that's all. Oh, actually, I'm going to do the wrap of his weapon in this color. Alrighty. Now I think I'll go for the blue. The first thing we're going to do, it's going to be a two-step process, but the first one is going to be techless blue. And on this guy, the only thing that's going to be blue is the helmet, minus the headdress part. So I'm just going to paint the whole thing in blue. A little bit too much water on my brush still. There we go. And we might need a second coat for this this blue to cover over the white. We'll have to see. And I haven't decided if... I was thinking I want to do the banner in blue as well, but that might be too much blue all in one spot, since both are at the top of the model. So I'm going to have to give that some thought. Maybe we'll come back to the banner at the end. Alright, we'll let that dry. And while it is, I will see if I can find the purple I want. Actually, oh, here it is. Zurius purple is what we're going to use. And this will be for the cape as well as the tassels in the front. I think I might do the headdress in black and white. I seem to remember that that's a color palette that the Eldar have on them every now and again in box art, so some fluff on there. There we go. Alright, and then the cape. And the cape is going to be a bit of a pain to paint because I didn't paint this guy in sub-assemblies. That was a choice I could have made. It's a choice I rarely make because I'm impatient, but it might have been a good idea this time. Probably is a good idea a lot of the time. I just don't like to do it. So we'll see how we go. If we get purple all over the yellow, then everyone who normally paints in sub-assemblies can say they told me so. And the his staff here is going to be painted with a layer paint, not a contrast paint, so we can be as messy as we need to be around it. This armor, though, we would like to keep purple free if possible. Just get that in there. And the gun, same thing, so we can be messy around it as well. Just get up in there. Alright, that'll work. I'm sure there are some parts missing from the perfect angle. You can probably see some white or black in there, but that's okay. For our purposes, that'll do. I'll probably have to do a second coat of purple at some point, but for now I'll move on. Our blue is almost dry, but not quite, so until it does, I'm going to do apothecary white on the headdress here. Just to shade it a little bit. Oh, didn't rinse my brush well enough, apparently, so we get some purple shading to this apothecary white. Just wipe that off. Try again. It's better. Errant bristle in there. Okay. I think the Iyanden symbol is white, or yeah, white and yellow. So I probably will do the banner in blue, but I might do it in a darker blue. We'll see. Blue is still almost dry, but not quite. So we'll go on to the weapons. For that, we're going to use Noir Black from Reaper. This is basically the same color as Corvus Black from Games Workshop. I just don't have Corvus Black on hand currently, so I'm using Noir Black. If you're trying to copy the paint scheme exactly, that is what I would recommend to you. So I'm just going to cover the weapons in this color, as well as the pole holding up the banner in this color. That little handle on the gun probably should have been in the same color we did the wrapping on the spear, but that's okay. I'm not super concerned with it. All right, and then all this here. I think I'm actually just going to paint the whole blade this color as well. We're going to come back and change the color of the blade, but for now, I'm just going to black it out. We'll probably come back and paint a fair bit of other color on the decorative part of this weapon as well, but I just want to get it all blacked out for now. That way also, if we decide to not come back, we don't have to come back at all. It'll just have a color on it and we'll be good to go. I've talked about that before in videos and in live streams, that if you're painting something, you should always try to use as much of a color as you can on as much as possible, so that you don't so that you can be done when you want to be done. So say, for instance, I didn't paint this whole weapon black. Say I just very carefully painted this part right here, but left that primer and left up here primer or whatever. And then say I get to, an hour from now, and I just want to be done. If I had left that primer, now I don't have a miniature I can use. I can use it, obviously. I could take it to a game. It would just be unpainted. But if I put paint on it, then I can still come back and put another color on it. There's absolutely nothing preventing me from doing that. But I could also take it to a game, play it, and have a fully painted army. Also, even if you were not wanting to do that, if you paint the whole thing a color now, you might get to a point where you're like, you know what? I'm not having fun with this miniature anymore. I just want to put him down. And if you have all this other stuff on him that isn't painted, now you either have an unfinished model forever, or you have to come back and keep painting the model to get color on everything on a model you're not enjoying. Neither of which are good options. I'm just getting the Iyanden yellow back out to fix the mistakes I forgot about. Just checking that I got it everywhere else. I think I did. Oh, right there. All right. Good. All right, I'm going to go to the second color for the blue now, which is going to be Omen Glaze. And I know if you're trying to replicate this, that Omen Glaze is not purchasable anymore. They stopped producing it. However, you can make Omen Glaze yourself by using these two colors right here, Aethermatic Blue and Talisar Blue. If you do 4 drops of Aethermatic Blue to 1 drop of Talisar Blue, it comes out the same. Maybe same is probably the wrong word. I'm sure people could tell the difference. It comes out very, 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 very close. So if you can't get your hands on Omen Glaze because it is out of production, go with that. Alternatively, just thin down some blue paint, put it on there. It's close enough, right? But I'm just going to put this glaze over the top of all of the blue here. Putting it on about as thick as I would a contrast paint. That is to say, thicker than what you might put on normal paint, or the thickness you might put normal paint on. So that allows it to really pool up in the recesses and give the color that we want on this helmet. So there. Now that blue is done. We'll obviously come back and paint the details, but now we're going to take one of my new favorite tools, which is not related to painting, or not specifically anyway. And it's one of these. This is a brush pen from Pigma. They do not sponsor me, although if they want to, I'd be happy to accept their dollars, or any currency they want to sponsor me in, to be honest. I got this on Amazon for like $6, I think. I've been using it to line my Dark Eldar vehicles. That's what the tip looks like. It's got a flexible tip. Hopefully you can sort of see that. So what we're going to do is come up to this headdress of his and just pick out some spots. Oh, look, there's decorative things already picked out for us. All right, here we go. So we're just going to take this and draw some lines right where these decorative spots already are. Perfect. And then over here as well. And I just find that I have better control with that for doing lines like this than with a paintbrush. And then I will do half of this in paint, and I'll do half with this marker. And that way you can see the difference on a finished miniature. You can make the decision for yourself. So this side, I'm going to color in this part with this brush marker. Or brush pen, whatever you want to call it. You just want to be careful to preserve the tip, because it can get a little bit frayed if you're not gentle with it. Just going to do that. Good. Just like that. So then on the other side, I will use black paint. As soon as I find the cap to this, here it is. So on the other side, I'm going to use Black Templar, if I can find it. There we go. Black Templar. And we'll do this on the other side. But regardless of what we choose to use, the guidelines that we put in with the marker are there, so we know exactly where to stop. Just flip over and do the other side here. With the guidelines, the paint is so much easier to apply. At least I find it so much easier to apply. I'll just do this side real quick, just so I don't have to get the marker back out again. There we go. So there, once the miniature's all dry, we can see the difference. I personally don't think there's much difference at all in the finish. Maybe the marker is a little bit darker because this is contrast paint, and so you are seeing a little bit of that white primer through. But honestly, the difference is very minor. All right, I think it is time to do some detail now. We're going to start with Retributor armor. And I'm going to paint in a couple details on him. So this elaborate belt buckle thing he has here is going to be gold. Camera having some struggles today. Or I'm just bad at holding the miniature where the focus is. I'll blame the technology. It seems like a better answer. Alright, let's see. Just deciding which parts of this I want to be gold and which I want to be silver, and I don't want to put them next to each other. So I think I'm going to paint this part gold. And then I'll come back, and that little decoration that's hanging off there will be silver. Nothing obviously says that you couldn't have two gold parts next to each other, but just for my aesthetic choices, that's what I'm going to do. Make sure the side of this belt buckle is gotten. There we go. Alright. Then I'm going to paint these details in that we just saw a minute ago. Make sure I have a nice fine point on my brush. I don't want to get this gold on the white or the blue. On the black would be annoying, but not a huge problem, because the black will cover over this gold. Technically the blue would as well, but it would be more annoying because it's two steps. Alright, and then the other side. If we did happen to get some on the white, we could also just come back with some brush on white and then put the apothecary white back on, so on and so forth. But, again, annoying. Just going to paint this detail on the other side now. And then I've got to figure out a couple more things to be gold. He definitely needs more than just two gold details on him. I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe two is enough. We'll have to see. I probably should have waited a little longer for this blue to dry, because I can feel it wicking a little bit of the gold away. but not the end of the world. This is tabletop quality after all. Not ultra concerned. Alright, how about a gold detail on the gun? Is there anything here that can be gold? Not really. Alright, these fins. They're going to be gold. For no other reason than I want a gold detail on the gun. We've got one on the spear. We've got 2 on him. I want 1 on the gun. Alright. That rune in the middle of his head could have been gold as well. Oh well. Alright, now we're going to get our Stormhost silver. Right there. And all of these gems, or soul stones as I believe they're called, on him, we're going to paint in with this color. Just being careful again not to get this on the yellow. We're also going to paint in some other details with this color. But we're going to focus on the soul stones first. And because this guy is in a leadership position, he has a ton of them. Yeah, these buckles right here are going to be silver. I'm just going to grab them while I'm here. Woo! Big swatch of silver there across our yellow. So I just got my paintbrush wet. And I'm going to wick that stuff back up. There we go. It'll leave a little bit of mica from the silver paint on the shoulder pad. But again, tabletop quality. Not worried about it. And just that one in the middle there. And he's got some on his legs. Actually, quite a few on his legs. Those are buckles, but I will get them as well. I gotta get the one in the middle of his belt buckle here. And then these things here. And the last 2 here, I think that's all of them. Oh wait, nope, he's got some on his gun. And probably on his, on his staff as well. Oh, and there's one under his shield. Oh, 2 under his shield. Alright, this guy has too many soul stones. That's official. Some of these silver details, like the soul stones, we're going to go back over in a color. Some will be just left silver and then have a wash applied to them. Just get these last 2 here. Alright, and then onto the gun. Let's see here. All this in there. That one. Oh, a little bit of a mistake again. Just going to rinse my brush, get it wet. And wick the silver back off. There we go. And we're back to how we wanted it. Alright, I think I will take this opportunity to do both a second layer of the black in a couple places, as well as a second layer of purple. So I'll start with the black. I don't know, actually I said that, but I'm actually pretty happy with how the black is right. Yep, never mind. Alright, ignore me. I am going to do a second coat of the purple, though, because it is a little splotchy. So this is back to Xarius purple. And that should be good. We'll probably put some wash over it later. But for now, that should be fine. All right. So let's see what else needs to be done to this guy. We're closing in on... Everything has a base coat on it. So, our silver's still drying, so we can't do our soulstone color yet. So I think what we're going to do is mute the microphone real quick and give this guy a good dry with the blow dryer. So, I'll be right back. And in case anyone was confused, still not sponsored by Revlon. Again, I will happily take their dollars or any other currency they want to sponsor me in, but currently, I do not have a sponsorship with them. All right, we're going to work on the gun a little bit. I'm going to start with this Tesseract Glow. And give it a good shake, because it likes to separate. And then I'm going to put this on what I believe to be the sort of internal parts of this gun. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but... So this sort of... I don't know what you'd call it, like... I'm going to assume it's an ammo pack or something down here. I'm just going to put this on it. It's not going to cover the green or the black completely, because this is a sort of like a contrast paint. Even though it's not called contrast, it's just a technical paint, but that's fine for our purposes. I just want to give the appearance that something's in there, maybe. And then this stuff, or these little sections in between the raised edges here, put the same green in. Just like that. And if it looks a little splotchy, that's fine, because, you know, it's like energy coursing through it or something. I'm honestly not sure exactly what this weapon is called. I think it's the spinner or something, like something spinner, death spinner maybe, or something. I just thought it was the coolest looking one, so that's the one I went with when I built this guy. Alright, then we shall move on to some edge highlights, everyone's favorite. So first, I'm going to do the blue really quick, because it's only one spot. I'm going to use Baharoth blue for this. Appropriate for the Eldar. And the symbol on his head, I'm just going to outline that with this Baharoth blue. Being careful not to hit the other blue. Okay. And then I think I'm just going to do right there and right there. Then we will do some with the purple. We're going to take Gene Stealer purple for this. Get some on the brush. And then take the edge of the brush and just run it along these hard edges here. Flip him upside down. And do the same thing. Flip him again. There we go. And I'll get the edges of the cape here. All right. Just being careful that I don't get any on the flat parts of this cape. Or at least as little as possible. What craft world is this scheme? This is like Iyanden, sort of. Iyanden is yellow and blue. It's not exactly. The blue is lighter than the box art Iyanden. And I don't know if they incorporate other colors other than their symbol is white, I believe. But, yeah. So that's about it. So I'm just going to come up to these raised parts of the cloak here and just run some lines up them. Like that. Up there. There we go. Doesn't really show up on camera, but it's there. I promise. Oh, I'm going to do one right here as well. That's fine. And that actually will fade quite a bit into the darker purple as it dries. All right. So I think I'll do the yellow now. So we're going to take some Uriel yellow, which could be related to Eldar. I'm honestly not sure. And I'm not going to edge highlight the whole armor. I'm just going to edge highlight the shoulder pads here. They're one of the most prominent yellow features that are up towards the top of the model that have a hard edge. And so I just want to accentuate them a little bit. You know, I said I was going to do just that, but this shield is begging for it. So I'll do the shield as well. All right, there, done. Now only the shoulder pads. There we go. Then we're going to do the edge highlight of the brown, which we're going to use the greatest color ever created by any paint company ever, Gorthor Brown. And all the little edges on the leather are going to be in this color. And all these little decorations down like that. And get up here. And do just a little bit on the full or the rings of this spear here. Good. All right. Now I think our silver has dried long enough. We're going to take some Blood Angels Red. And on all the soul stones, or many of the soul stones, we're going to put this right on top of the silver. So we'll start here in the middle. Some of them we are going to leave silver, but a lot of them we are going to paint red. And any of them that are in a housing like this, making sure to leave the red only on the gem and not intruding on the surrounding bits. I'm going to leave those two silver. But yeah, Sam in chat asked what craft world this is. I've never collected a Eldar army before, at least not officially. I have a couple bits here and there, but never done a full army. And I'll be honest, I don't know. I mean, I guess no one knows what their current rules are because the codex is coming out soon, but their rules that are in their old codex I don't know what they are. I've never looked at them. I just thought it would be cool to paint yellow. And I wanted an excuse to use my techless blue with Golem glaze over the top of it. And so those two factors combined means that I'm painting Iyanden. In my head, Iyanden is a shooty craft world. And that's sort of what interests me, is the rangers and stuff. I could be completely wrong. Iyanden might not be focused on shooting at all, but that's okay. I'm not super concerned. All right, so there's our gemstones, our soul stones done. Now I'm going to take another silver. This is black metal from scale 75, but it is very similar to Iron Warriors, the Citadel color. So again, if you didn't have the scale 75 paint and you wanted to get pretty close, Iron Warriors is what you'd go for. I started using this black metal, picked it up at a convention when I could not get a hold of Iron Warriors. Now I am able to get a hold of Iron Warriors, but I figure I may as well finish out the black metal before I go back to Iron Warriors. And who knows, I may not go back to Iron Warriors. But I'm going to use this for now. So I'm going to do his face plate in this, or his mouth speaker plate, whatever thing. Just wipe off a little bit of excess there. And then I'm going to do a little bit of his gun in this color. So this part in here, as well as the handle. And the reverse. And then I'm going to do the blade in this color as well. I like the idea of a dark blade, but I didn't want to just leave it black because the rest of the spear is that color, and that seems weird to me. Alrighty. So then I'm going to do two details at once. I'm going to take some Fire Dragon Bright, again, convenient for Eldar. And I'm going to paint his eyes, as well as some highlights on some of our gems. So first, I will do his eyes, just being careful not to hit the blue that surrounds them. Maybe on camera, that would be good. There we go. Eye lenses are not completely painted, but they have a color on them. That's what is good enough for me. So then we're going to get a little bit more of this. And just on the two main soul stones here, I'm just going to go to the bottom left and do a little bit of a highlight down there. And then we're going to take some white, although not pure white. In this case, I'm going to use Ulthuan Gray and do just a dot in the opposite corner that we did the yellow, or the orange. So we did the orange in the bottom left. We're going to do the dot in the top right. Right there. And right there. And that just gives our gems a little bit more detail. And we'll be good to go. So then, oh yeah, we still have this back banner to deal with. I'll get to that eventually. But first, I'm going to mute again and give this a good dry with the blow dryer. Alright, there we go. And I've decided I'm going to do the banner. And I'm just going to do that in some Talisar blue. And I may come back and paint over it later. But for now, I'm just going to... Ooh, I'm not going to do it in Talisar blue. My Talisar blue is going bad. It's almost empty. So instead, we'll do ultramarine blue. This is because I don't really know what I want to do with it yet, but a blue will be a good placeholder. And that will let me know if I want to do the blue or if I want to leave it blue in the end. So I'm just going to put this on there, moving my brush in the directions of these natural lines in the sculpt so that my brush strokes give the impression of the weave of the cloth. I mean, if anyone really looks at it, it will obviously just look like brush strokes, but may as well hide it as much as I can while I have the chance. There we go. That'll work for now. I can already say I probably won't leave it that color. I don't think it works in that blue color. But for this stream with Olympic curling starting in 10 minutes, it's absolutely good enough. So now we're going to do some Nuln Oil. If I can find the correct pot of it. Here we go. Nuln Oil. We're just going to put this in a couple spots. So on the gun, as well as on the spear. Being careful to avoid the gemstones. But being sure to get it on the silver parts. We can avoid the green as well. We don't need it on that. We will get it on the gold. There we go. And on these silver parts here. Make sure to get a good coating. There we go. Excellent. All right, and then the silver and gold up here. Get some on the blade, especially on the edge here. There we go. Down here. And then down here on the gold here. There we go. And then just right here around that gem in the middle. A little bit on his helmet. There we go. All right. So then we're going to get Agrak's Earthshade. And we're just going to put this on the little bits of brown that we have on him. And this will just tie the edge highlight to the main color a little bit more, as well as give the leather a little bit more depth. There we go. I'm actually going to do something crazy real quick. I'm just going to put a thin layer of it down on this purple. Yeah, I think I like that. So I'm going to do the same thing back here. Just going to do a thin layer, not putting it on as a wash, more as a glaze. Just changing the color of the purple slightly towards red, away from purple. Just making it a little bit warmer. I think that makes it look a little bit better. It just dulls it also just slightly, which I think works better. Should have grabbed the other sides here. And this. There we go. And then right down here. All right. So then I think he himself will be done, but we do have to do the base real quick. So we're going to do something a little bit different with the base. I'm going to take some snakebite leather right here, and we're going to take some pigment powder. In this case, from Earth Pigments, Clay Brown. There's the website right there. Don't know if that website still works. This is a pretty old product. Also, again, not sponsored. They do not currently sponsor me. Before I do that, I'm going to make sure everything else on this miniature is nice and dry. All right, should be good. So now we're going to go to Snakebite Leather. And I'm going to put this all over the base here. And I'm just going to try it going all over these ruins and stuff too. This might not work out as well as I would like, but the idea here is to go for a sort of dusty, dirty ground that kind of ruins have been covered in dust. That sort of thing. So we're going to see how this goes. We're going to use the Snakebite Leather, not only as the color for this surrounding area, but for as glue for the pigment as well. And we don't need big clumps of pigment. We just want a thin layer to sort of simulate the texture of the dust. So obviously, while that is still wet, we're going to take him off of here. There we go. We're going to open this up. And we're just going to pop him in here. And get this dust all over this Snakebite Leather we've just painted here. Knock it down off there. Alright, then I'm just going to blow off any excess. And there we go. That worked pretty well, I'd say. We've got a ruin that's seen better days and is covered with dust, and we did it in 2 quick, easy steps. I'm all about that. Just going to wipe any extra off the base rim there. Put that away, and then we just have to paint the base rim and call him done. So I will do that real quick. While I'm doing that, I would like to thank you all for watching. Whether you are watching live right this second, or if right this second is right this second for you in the future. I appreciate it either way. YouTube tells me that I'm missing out if I don't tell people to like and subscribe. So, yeah, like and subscribe, please. I would appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's about it, really. For videos, I include a list of the paints I use down in the description. As I said a minute ago, I'm going to go watch curling as soon as I'm done with this. I believe the U.S. women are facing Switzerland. But as soon as that's over, I will come back and get a list of paints uploaded and add that to the description. So if you're watching live and you want to see the list, they won't be there immediately, but if you're watching sometime in the future, they'll be there pretty soon. I just joined and it's completed. Well, you can always rewind and watch the video, or you can just admire the nice finished product. At least I think it's a nice finished product. But I'll probably come back at some point and do something with the banner here, maybe add some more details. But honestly, for tabletop quality, the base rim will need another coat of paint. But again, for tabletop quality, I think this miniature does just fine. So yeah, there he is, all done. The nice new Eldar Autarch from Eldritch Omens. Again, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.